Good morning, friendly people. I'm Wayne, and I'm an alcoholic. Today's daily reflection for 6 October 2020, Facing Ourselves. Let's go. Good morning, sober friends, and if you're not sober, welcome to the channel. I'm one sober to another, and Wayne, and I'm an alcoholic. Today's daily reflection, as I stated in the beginning, Facing Ourselves. And fear says, you dare not look. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 49. How often I avoided a task in my drinking days just because it appeared so large. Is it any wonder, even if I have been sober for some time, that I will act the same way when faced with what appears to be a monumental job, such as a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself? What I discover after I have arrived at the other side, when my inventory is completed, is that the illusion was greater than the reality. The fear of facing myself kept me at a standstill, and until I became willing to put pencil to paper, I was arresting my growth based on something intangible. Well, if you are scared of what you will find if you uncover the truth beneath the surface by doing what is known as a step 4 in Alcoholics Anonymous, and if that's not your thing, just apply this principle to your recovery as you see it. A moral inventory of ourselves is where we have to dig really deep and think about all the times that we felt trespassed, or that we trespassed against somebody else, or that we caused damage, and find our fault in that. Now, putting the pencil to the paper is the hardest part. And when I did it, my step 4 literally took me 3.5 hours and 3 weeks, because things kept surfacing little by little. Now, I got the bulk of the list out in about that 3.5 hours. But as I thought about it more and more, a lot of things started to come to the surface that I had completely blocked out when I was drinking. Even in our sobriety, sometimes we look at a large goal or a large obstacle to be very intimidating and very hard to reach. Therefore, a lot of us, we don't even try to do it, which is kind of a failure on my part if I don't do it, because then I am possibly slaving off, or let me rephrase that, cutting off an opportunity that might exist for me to have growth and or to excel in my life, or in what I'm doing, or in my recovery for that matter. When I did my step 4, I was very afraid of what was going to come up. Not because of the shame and guilt that I felt, but because I truly didn't know everything that I did when I was drinking. But as I began to list it out, and this is an itemized list, so to speak, not like yesterday in the daily reflection when we were talking about the itemization. But as I began to list it out, I started to see things that were very alarming and very obstructive to my positive thinking, and things that I had done and caused, as well as, the people that I hurt along the way. So after the step 4, you have to do a step 5. And this is in Alcoholics Anonymous. It might not apply to you. And that is admitting to God and to ourselves and to another human being the exact thing that we did wrong. That's a hardship, because writing it out is one thing. Putting it out in the universe is another. And I do that on this channel a lot. I put my stuff in the universe, and it's not because, I need validation. It is because you may feel the same way, or something that I bring up might be similar to what you've gone through, and perhaps it'll be helpful. Facing ourselves is a hard thing. If you've ever looked into the mirror and you didn't like what you saw, and chances are if you're an alcoholic or an addict, that occurred a lot. Matter of fact, I stopped looking in the mirror because every time I did, somebody was answering back, and they weren't exactly my friend. You know, how often have I avoided a task in my drinking days just because it appeared so large? I grew a lot of ideas and a lot of things that were huge goals when I was drinking. But like I said, I never took action on those. And I never took action on them because it seemed like me, a drunk, couldn't reach those. And why was I thinking about it in the first place? F it, drink more. You know, that's how I dealt with that. In sobriety, it started out the same way. When I saw something that was intimidating or seemed hard to reach, I kind of held myself back from it. And, you know, kind of like starting this channel, you know, I really didn't think, and I still don't. I mean, I still don't think that this channel is going to go anywhere. And that's me internally. That's one of my character defects is always negative self-talk. So I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And for years, I put it off. And if I would have started in the beginning anyway, I think that the freshness of my sobriety would have been more valuable than it is now. However, don't let that take it away that, you know, what I'm putting out there is important for somebody. And if you do get value out of this video, hit the like button below. I also noticed that, you know, when I send certain things out, that, you know, I might not get the response I want. And that's intimidating as well. Should I keep pursuing it? You know, the fear of facing myself kept me at a standstill, and I became willing to put pencil to paper. I was arresting my growth based on an intangible. I am arresting my growth, and I am halting my progress if I don't do something just because I'm afraid of it. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate. And the reason I'm not putting details out there is because my step 4 is my step 4. And if you want to conduct a moral inventory, you really should. And you might be surprised at what you find. And that is step 4 of Alcoholics Anonymous, in case you're interested. There are plenty examples online, but I recommend doing it with a sponsor. And I recommend, if you do come across something that you found that you forgot and it scares the shit out of you, keep doing it anyway. Because eventually, once you get that all out there, it is going to make things a lot better for you internally, the way you process it. Before, I used to shut them out, and once I put them on paper, you know, now I'm able to address those literally head on. So that's what I get out of today's daily reflection. And if you've gotten anything out of this, remember to hit that like button, drop your comment below so this video gets out in circulation. And guess what, guys? Life's a garden. Dig it. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.